Key causes and triggers to the thyroid becoming insufficient or not working properly. Obviously, lifestyle, as you hear from many of our overall videos, the lifestyle is what we eat and how we take care of ourselves. That usually influences the gut health, which then influences the liver. And if the liver isn't properly methylating or converting the hormones properly, then you're going to have a problem. Hashimoto's disease is a hypothyroid, and there are many factors that can lead to a hypo, which, if we remember, the hypo is a slowing of the thyroid and an improperly working thyroid. And so those are hormone changes like perimenopause and chronic stress. Chronic stress is a big indicator of many body systems failing, hormone production, and perimenopause entering early. Stress is your killer of your body, and it's a killer of your thyroid. And if your thyroid regulates many of your hormones, then you see how the chain reaction continues. Now, the thyroid can become imbalanced during pregnancy. It can become imbalanced, as I said, in peri or menopause. And once the thyroid begins to deteriorate, it has a hard time rejuvenating, and we end up then having to support it synthetically, unfortunately, for maybe the rest of a person's life. We need to recognize the triggers, as we talked about in our first video, about what is hyper and hypo, and do I have some symptoms there? Once or twice during the month is not a big deal, but if things begin to persist, it's an area we need to look at and see if it's something that we can support. Other issues that can hurt the thyroid: hormonal birth control. Anything where you are adjusting your hormones for a long period of time and telling the body that it doesn't need something, for example, a progesterone hormone that is there for birth control, your body then never really knows what its cycle is, and therefore it begins to not produce the hormones that are necessary, and it can then not produce or trigger the thyroid to produce, and the thyroid then begins to become deficient. So birth control, extreme dieting, extreme fasting, which I'm a huge fasting advocate, but a fasting advocate in doing it properly. Excessive exercise. There are those that are very passionate about their exercise. There are many different types of exercise and sports in which you can become so deficient in the hormones that's necessary that not necessary, but that your body would normally regulate, because it's always in that high stress activity mode, that the thyroid then can begin to show damage or deficiency. So we want to make sure we're balancing the thyroid and balancing all of these things. There's nothing wrong with many of the things we just talked about if they're done in moderation and balance.